Hey guys, in this video I have the Pandora's Box 5S 999 in 1 arcade SuperGun console. This unit was sent to me by Banggood for reviewing, so I'd like to thank them for letting me share this with you. For a limited time, there's a 10% off coupon code in the description if you use the link to buy this item. A nice change to this model is the King of Fighters artwork. Considering how many King of Fighter games are included on the games list, it's perfect. It also comes with Virtual Fighter or Tekken artwork as well. The 5S model brings the already impressive games list to 999 games, a game short of 1,000. And as always, the games come from many genres, from classics to fighters to shmups to platformers and puzzles. You'll be wasting a lot of time trying to decide what games to play. Even with the older models with less games, I never heard anyone complain about the selection at any of the gatherings I've been to. If you've seen my other Pandora's Box videos, you'll know they are great for anyone looking for a simple way to get arcade games into their home. There is no need to find ROMs or set up emulators. It's just plug and play up to a TV or monitor. Check out my other videos if you want to know more about these Pandora's boxes. I have done several reviews already regarding them. I'm not going to bore you with an unboxing, but it arrived in the usual box with lots of foam. Included with the arcade system are the usual accessories like the power, HDMI, USB, and VGA cable. They also included some spare buttons and a manual. The top panel features a unique shape compared to the usual rectangular one. The acrylic is also about 1 centimeter thick, so it should be able to take a beating. The joysticks and buttons are Sanwa clones and can easily be upgraded. They do feel clickier than the original Sanwas, but for most people, they are just fine. The enclosure is slightly taller than my other Pandora's boxes, but it can be a good thing for those who are planning to mod this thing by putting in their own internals in the future. To open the enclosure, you need to take out one screw. It's also held down by 2 latches. After removing the screw, it will give you quicker access to the internals. The latches can be padlocked as well if security is a concern. Now let's take a look at the inputs and outputs for the arcade system. So the first thing I want to show you is the power supply. It's now inside the actual enclosure itself, so all you need to do is plug up a power cable. You no longer have a big heavy power brick dangling. And this is the on-off switch. And to the right of it, you see a scale button. And the scale button basically changes the, I guess, the aspect ratio, but when I held on for 3 seconds, nothing really happened. And the button right next to it is the settings button, which allows you to change various things, the VGA output, and HDMI, as well as the volume, speaker output. And there's this weird button here that I pressed, but it didn't really do anything. So I'm not quite sure what it does. And finally, you have the USB port that allows you to use the Pandora's box as an arcade stick for your console or computer. Now let's take a look at the inside. So the very first thing you're going to notice is the PCB board on the left hand side here. That is the brains of it all. And the enclosure itself has a lot of room so that you can store a lot of things like cables. And as you can see, I have the power cable, the HDMI, and even the manual. Because of the extra space, you can gut this thing out and put your own computer, Raspberry Pi, Android box, whatever you want inside. Maybe in the future you want to upgrade the internals to something else and make your own arcade SuperGun. Check out my other video where I show you how to install a Raspberry Pi inside a Pandora's Box arcade system and still have the Pandora's Box fully functioning as well. And like I said, this is a very good enclosure for you to use as a base for any project in the future. Say when the Pandora's boxes are obsolete, you can always gut them out and put whatever you want inside. You can swap out the buttons. The stock arcade controls are Sanwa compatible, so that if you want to, you could spend a little bit more and upgrade the buttons. And you can see right here, this is a Sanwa compatible joystick. It has a round gate, so if you want to change it to a square or octagon gate, you can easily swap that out. And it basically uses your standard 5-pin connector as well, so it's just a matter of screwing them off and then putting in the Sanwa version of it. So the boot up time has been significantly shortened. There isn't any intro videos anymore. When you power it on, it goes straight to the games menu, which is pretty awesome. So I'll quickly scroll through the pages for the games that are included. There's about 100 pages, but there will be a link in the description as well if you're interested in seeing which games are available. So when you push the CFG button on the back of the Pandora's box, you will get access to the system settings. And here you could change various things like game settings. You could change the difficulty and the amount of lives, etc. There's a few things you could change, so play around with that. Once you're done with the settings, you can just go down to the save setting and reboot, and notice how quickly it reboots back to the main menu. I'm going to quickly go through a few games, but notice how there is no intro sound anymore when you load a game. If you recall from previous Pandora's boxes, it would play this intro sound, and it was like a sound effect from Battle City, and then it would say ready, set, go from, I think, King of Fighters. So I'm really glad that they removed it from these newer Pandora boxes. The Pandora's Box 5S is another evolution in this type of arcade superguns. With every version, they continue to add more games. Whether you have the older models or the latest Pandora's Box, they are a hit at any party. Anyone who grew up playing with arcades will immediately have a rush of nostalgia when they see one of these things. Again, I'd like to thank Banggood for sending me this to review. If you're interested in picking this 5S model or the other ones, check the links in the description. I'll also have a link to the games list. And as always, comment, like, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.